Somebody has run out on the field. Some goofball in a hat and a red shirt. Now he takes off the shirt. He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. He's bare-chested and banging his chest. Now he runs the opposite way. He runs to the 50. He runs to the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. The 20. They're chasing him. They're not going to get him. Waving his arms. Bare-chested. Somebody stop that man. Oh, they got him. Oh, they got him. They're coming from the left. Oh, they got him. Bang, bang, bang in his chest. Bang, bang. The guy is drunk.
Welcome to Fantasy and Chill, Week 2. Coming at you on a Wednesday night. A little late this week. I had some car troubles last night, kind of delayed us, and then Ethan went into full dad mode, so had to push it back to Wednesday. But we are here for you. I'm your quarterback, Ryan Keller, and just me and producer Matt this week.
It's gonna be a fun one. Now we have no tiebreaker if we disagree.
That's true. So, guess I'm the tiebreaker. I'm always right.
As a producer, I disagree.
Was that a Miller Lite you were drinking?
Yeah, gotta be prepared. I was prepared last night, waiting for everyone to get on. Had a couple old fashions in me, and then just no one showed up, so I was just drunk at night.
Miller, that's the drink of choice tonight.
It was a backstory. I had to buy more Miller because I drank all of my roommates, so I felt
whatever.
bad.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get straight into it with our fantasy studs, like we always lead off the show with.
Fantasy studs.
There we go. Guys, bear with us. It's just me and Matt, so Matt's kind of doing double duty tonight, so the drops might be a little late, but Matt will get to
I
it.
mean, it's always that way, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I was trying to help you out. You just kind of ratted yourself out. But
I take responsibility.
yeah. That's a great producer. So anytime the show fails, like Matt just said, it's his fault. So, yeah. First QB stud. We talked about him last week, saying that maybe he's coming to the end here. He's on his decline. Had a rough week 1, but that is Ben Roethlisberger bouncing back big time this week versus the Chiefs. He was 39 of 60, threw the ball 60 times for 452 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also added a scramble into the end zone for a touchdown late in that game. And really, I want to know, is this what we can kind of expect from Big Ben going forward, or was this just kind of a product of they went down like 21-0 pretty quick and he had to just throw it 60 times to get him back in the game?
I think it's both, maybe. Them going down obviously helps him. It helps Roethlisberger in fantasy. It doesn't help the team, but by them going down big, it's going to force them to throw the ball, and their defense is pretty shit right now. So I don't see that changing, and this might hurt Connor's value a little bit.
Yeah, Connor's value might be taking a hit, but like we talked about last week with the Saints defense is down, which means Drew Brees should be up. We'll talk about Drew Brees in a minute, how it wasn't really up this week. But if that's the same case with the Steelers and their defense is terrible this year, then Big Ben's going to have to throw the ball a lot. And they play the Red Hot Bucks this week. So what do we think about Big Ben this week? Starting him?
I'm starting Fitzpatrick.
Starting Fitzpatrick.
If I can get Fitzpatrick, then I'm starting him. But yeah, I guess Big Ben's not a bad play either.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably a guy right there around the 10 spot, probably top 10, maybe pushing it.
Yeah,
for this week,
where you'd expect him to be when you drafted him, or if you drafted him. He's probably close to the top 10.
Are we worried at all about all the drama going on there in Pittsburgh with him? With him,
or just the entire team?
I'm just saying how the drama would affect him.
Dumpster fire. No. As an Antonio Brown owner, are you worried?
No, I'm chill as a cucumber, man.
I guess we should.
I feel great.
Tell everyone. I don't know if they know already, but Antonio Brown didn't report to Monday's. What was it? Walkthroughs or not walkthroughs?
Just
video
team meetings or whatever they had. You know, he had family issues, dude.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
That's what he said. You know, I believe him 100%. That's my receiver. That's my guy.
Have the same family, I'm guessing.
Okay, that's racist.
No, that's not what I meant by that. Come on.
Okay.
That's racist that you think of it that way.
No, that wasn't.
I just meant they're both away from the team.
Yeah, of course.
Come on.
But yeah, Antonio gonna big bounce back with Big Ben. I feel great about it. Not worried at all about my 0-2 start, Matt. Not worried at all.
That sounds like okay.
I'm not worried.
I saw some
this.
people predicting that this. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with Big Ben. Probably move on in a little bit, but that Juju will have more yards with less receptions than Antonio Brown. Do you think that could happen
For this week or overall the season?
overall in the season?
No, I don't think we'll have more yards.
Okay, just thought I'd ask. I don't know if I do either. I don't know if I do either.
I mean, Antonio's fine. If you watch the game, he had, I think, 17 targets.
Yeah, but only 9 receptions.
Yeah, but I mean, he threw it to him. Of course, I was watching it. You know, I wanted him to score, obviously. And anytime they got close to the end zone, like 30, 40 yards out, he was throwing it deep to him in the end zone, just barely overthrowing him. So, I mean, it's going to eventually connect and work. I'm not worried about him. This is my first round pick.
I think he'll be right, too. But
yeah. Second QB fantasy stud is Patrick Mahomes. 23 of 38 for 326 yards and 6 touchdowns. Also added 18 rushing yards. And let me just say that I'm going to go ahead and claim that I made the move of the season so far, picking him up off waivers last week to try to save my struggling team here. But Mahomes, is he this year's pre-injury Deshaun Watson?
I mean, I guess you have to say yeah, because there's no other, unless there's just not a choice. Unless there's just not a Deshaun Watson this year. But yeah, obviously, 10 touchdowns total so far.
10 touchdowns, 2 games. That offense is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of well-oiled machines, did you see old Sammy Watkins getting involved last week?
You know, me and Austin were sitting there yesterday, and he mentioned something about, Chiefs offense went off and Sammy still didn't do shit. And I was like, well, he did have 17 points. He had like 100 yards.
Right, 100 yards, 31 rushing yards. That's what I'm worried about with this offense, though.
Yeah, you starting him this week?
Oh, no. I mean,
exactly.
What I was going to say was that's what I'm worried about with this offense, because you never know who's going to go off. The first week it was Tyreek Hill. Then this week we'll get to him in a little bit, but I won't say his name.
We'll get to him a little bit. I know you're excited about that.
Yeah, and then you got Sammy Watkins getting involved. Where's Kareem Hunt been?
Sammy Watkins just had his best game of the year, so.
We can make a bet on that, but that's fine.
You
really think this is his best game of the year?
100 yards and 131 total yards?
And we could go by fantasy points or just total yards.
Okay, I'll go by fantasy points. 17 points.
Okay. I guarantee you he gets more than 17 points again.
No, he won't.
We'll figure out the stipulations later, but
yeah, that's not happening.
It's happening.
Okay, first running back stud. The MVP, fantasy MVP from last year, we have Todd Gurley. He had 19 rushes for 42 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then 3 catches for 31 yards. Also added a 2-point conversion. And if you were watching the game, you didn't really think he did much. Pretty pedestrian numbers yards-wise. But then you look up, he's got 30 fantasy points from those 3 touchdowns. And, I mean, he's a machine. He won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, he's exactly what you wanted when you drafted him number 1 overall or number 2.
Number 1.
Well,
because if you
I'm
from a standpoint of if you had the number 1 pick, hopefully you took Gurley and not Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. Even though I was on the other side of that, I would have taken Bell, and I'd be hating myself right now.
Yep.
Because Gurley was my boy last year. But
yeah, I guess the only thing, if you're gonna be worried about anything with him, it's just the fact that they're such a good team right now that they might get up early, like huge early,
like they were on Sunday.
Yeah, and then they just pulled him from the game. I think he had a little.
I was about to say, are we worried at all about that injury? Or do we think that was just a product of them being up so big?
Was he injured or was he just having cramps?
He had an upper body injury. But I mean,
upper body cramp.
He didn't upper body cramp. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a chest cramp.
Okay, that sounds pretty serious.
No, I just made that up. But the way when he walked off the field, he was smiling and laughing. So I think it was just one of those. If he needed to, he could have played. But he's like, man, I already got my 30 points. I'm good.
Yeah, he's looking out for the people. But yeah, like I said, this week he plays the Chargers, so I don't think that's going to happen. Chargers pretty good team, so I'm not worried about them getting up really big.
Speaking
Ooh,
of the
what a transition.
Chargers, good segue. The second running back stud is Melvin Gordon. He had 9 carries for 28 yards and 1 touchdown, 6 catches for 38 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he had close to 30 points on only 66 total yards.
Yeah. People were going off about how good he was looking, but I look at the stat. Like I watched like what came on of the game, and it really was just his touchdowns that did the. If he didn't score those 3 touchdowns.
Like you look at him, Gurley only had 73 yards. He had 66 yards. So, I mean, they really didn't have that great of a game numbers wise. But then you add just the touchdowns, and they're beast.
Yeah, this is pretty much very similar games. They got up big on Buffalo, and they didn't really have to do much after that. And then the Rams got big up against who'd they play? Why'd I bring this up if I didn't know who they played? Wasn't Arizona, was it?
Arizona, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they didn't have to do anything either. So they just kind of got their points and then went to the bench. And I think Gordon has a little bit. He said he had cramps as well, but
yeah, he's a little banged up too. But I think he's another one of those. He'll be okay. I saw yesterday that he has almost as many targets as he has carries this year. I think 2 less targets than he has carries, which is a very good sign if you're a Gordon owner, because last year he was not very involved in the passing game, and it looks like they're making it a point this year to get him involved in that. And if so, basically he's game plan proof, game script proof, and not what you like to say, game script.
That's not me. That's Brit. But yeah, I do like to say that too. Game script. Yeah.
What did I say last week? I said Melvin Gordon is for sure a top 5 running back this year.
Did you? I mean, if you said that, I
think I said it.
Then I can't blame you, because I think a lot of people would agree right now the way it's looking.
I had him number 9 coming into the year, but I'm all aboard the Gordon train.
I think I had him 6? Oh yeah, that's right. We did talk about this already. But yeah, I think some people are worried about Eckler getting some touches there, but I'm not too. They kind of use them both at the same time, so it's
I mean, Eckler is getting the touches, but Gordon's still producing, so
yeah,
not like he's taking anything away from him.
I think it's similar to like the Ingram Kamara. Like Kamara benefits from Ingram doing a lot of the work. Yeah. So I'm not worried. But if you do have Gordon, I recommend getting Eckler.
Yes, that is because if Gordon for some reason does not ever play, then Eckler is gonna probably be a beast.
Yep. I don't know if you have
one of the wide receivers. First wide receiver who I lost my matchup this week by 1.6, and this guy had a lot to do with it. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs, 9 catches for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 2-point conversion. And him and Cousins both hooked up late in that game to secure the tie.
I really didn't watch too much of this game, but I know that he's just going to have a lot of opportunity there, because as a Dalvin Cook owner, I'm a little pissed, but they don't run the ball very well. Their offensive line is pretty shit. So their defense is always going to keep them in games. But for them to score, they're going to have to throw the ball. And
well, to be fair, at the end when they were down a couple touchdowns, they had to just throw it to get back in it, and the time was running out. And I mean, but that doesn't really give an excuse for the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I think it's just a solid play overall. Him and Thielen. Thielen is going to get his as well.
Yeah, that was a pretty sick catch to tie it at the end.
Oh, God. Thielen. Yeah, I don't know how he made that.
Okay, next wide receiver. He's on my team. Thought that it was a great start to the week for me on Thursday night. Ended up not working out, but AJ Green, 5 catches for 69 yards and 3 touchdowns. If you watch the game, he had in the first quarter, or maybe it was in the first half, but 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. Basically, when they got close to the end zone, he was just throwing it to AJ Green, which I loved. Love me some AJ.
I was gonna say a word. I was gonna let you see where you're going with that. Just okay.
That's where I went with it.
So you think he can sustain this production?
No, not at all, because I've been shopping him to everybody. So.
Oh, so now I know not to take Green from you.
Oh,
if you don't believe in him, how am I gonna believe in him?
Because I'm a good salesman.
I mean, they definitely look like a better team than they were the past few years.
They look good, and he's obviously Dalton's favorite target. But
And now you have
I
Mixon
just,
out there. Mixon
I
out
just think he's
for a
a
couple
guy
weeks.
that now he is a stud wide receiver, so he's not really like in that sell high category because you're thinking of guys that are just way overperforming,
No,
and AJ Green
he's
is
always a
definitely
sell high.
capable of that. Yeah. But after that game, if you want to try to get a number one running back for him, now would be the time.
Yeah. I think he also benefits from Tyler Boyd looking a little decent. So you got another wide receiver there that's taking a little bit of pressure off of him.
And they have who else do they have?
Well,
they got like a free agent.
Oh, they have free. You're not talking about Ross, are you?
Oh yeah, John Ross. He was hurt last year. My bad,
Yeah,
rookie.
Yeah. He fumbled his first catch against the Texans.
Why'd I say so? Oh yeah, he did last year.
And then he got hurt and never came back.
But yeah, he looks like he can play a little bit too. So now that they have more weapons out there, it should take some pressure off AJ Green.
Yep, and Eifert's not doing anything. So if you have him,
yeah, what the heck? Like he just, I mean, I know he's been out a couple years with that back injury, but he looks just awful out there.
Yeah, I don't know, but more opportunity for Green.
Getting to tight ends though,
Ooh.
I had to throw this one on there. We normally don't do a fantasy stud tight end unless like Gronk goes off or something. But this is Matt's boy, and I mean my guy helped him out, Mahomes. But tight end Travis Kelce, 7 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you remember last week, we had our relax or panic segment, and Kelce was on there after he only had 6 yards, and Matt told us relax, it's coming, and he was right.
He's talented. Like you get some of these guys that aren't talented that just get points because they either have a good quarterback.
So give me an example.
Damn it, dude! You gotta put me on the spot.
Well, you can't just say that.
Anyone that plays for the Patriots at wide receiver.
What are you saying, Matt?
Well, I'm saying, look how many wide receivers come over that are shit. They play with Brady. All of a sudden, they're like a top 15 wide receiver.
What kind of wide receivers?
Listen, they have Dorsett, okay? I know what you're just, God. I don't know what it is with you today.
Look, I'm not doing anything.
But you know what I mean. You see, like, obviously Gronk's a beast, but any other receiver they have benefits from playing with Brady. I think Kelce can go anywhere, play with anyone, and he's going to be good just because he's a physical specimen.
He's a douche, but he's good at football.
A douche, but we don't get fantasy points for being nice guys. So
if we did, I might have a damn good team. But
you drafted an all nice guy team.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just scouted the nice guys.
I have to take a look at your team. But yeah,
I don't know. I just made that up.
As I said last week,
Freeman is a nice guy.
Yeah, on the bench.
Yeah, we'll get to him later.
So they're playing Pittsburgh this week, I believe, right? Then they just played Pittsburgh.
They just played Pittsburgh. The Chiefs are playing
the Chargers. We just went through this.
Ooh, should be a good game.
Wait.
No, they played the Chargers week 1. What are you talking about? Let me look real quick because I have Mahomes and it'll be right here. Come on.
We were just talking. I was talking about
They play the 49ers.
That's right. Okay.
At home.
That should be a shootout. So.
I can see the Chiefs running away with that one, but.
Well, I mean, they could run away with a lot of games this year.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting worried on Sunday when they went up 21-0 or whatever. I was like, "Damn it, Mahomes gonna stop throwing."
21.
But luckily, Pittsburgh came out. Oh, funny one.
Pittsburgh kind of started coming back, which benefited any guys you had in that game, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so that wraps up our studs for the week. Our next segment, I'm calling it "Seeing is Believing?" ?
I don't have a.
And we have a few guys on both ends of the spectrum here. Just are we trusting what we see so far, or is it just not going to last? So the first guy obviously has to be the #1 overall scorer in fantasy football so far through 2 weeks. Matt mentioned him earlier. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So
Fitzmagic.
Everybody knows what happens after next week. Jameis Winston is no longer suspended, and we might have a little bit of a QB controversy on our hands. So, Matt, is Fitzpatrick sticking around, or what's going to happen there? And if he does stick around, is he keep putting up 40 points a week?
Let's see. I was going to get to both of those questions because there are two different answers. Yeah. Yes, I believe he will stick around. There's no way you can sit a guy right now They just put up back-to-back 400-yard games.
My buddy texted me earlier and said, should I pick up Fitzpatrick off waivers? Talking about, is he going to get benched when Jameis comes back? And I said, look, if they beat the Steelers on Sunday, you can't bench him. You can't do it.
Oh, no, yeah, you're not benching him. But so if you move past the Steelers, though, they finally get their first real test of a defense, which is Chicago, week 4. And that's when you actually see what that team is going to be about. But this week, I'm not sitting them. I don't think they're going to play Winston over him. I mean, it's Ryan McGregor Fitzpatrick right now. Apparently, he's only what?
No, I said that was great.
That picture, yeah. He was only third quarterback ever with back-to-back 400-yard games, 4 touchdowns in both games. I would never have guessed
put
that.
Fitzpatrick in a contract year. And,
that's another thing I was going to get to, the Ryan Fitzpatrick cycle. Yeah. So it's he gets signed to a team, starting QB goes down, he comes in, plays amazing, gets signed a big deal, plays like shit, gets cut, and you just keep going around. And now
so he was on Cincinnati, went to Buffalo, played really good, played really well, I'll say. Buffalo signed him, sucked for Buffalo, pretty awful. They cut him. Texans pick him up, had a good season for the Texans, led him to the playoffs. Texans said, well, fuck that. We'd rather have Brian Hoyer. So they cut him, bounces around a little bit, and now he's starring for the Bucs.
Yeah, and now he's going to get paid. It's going to suck. You're going to cut him.
Who's going to pay him? Buffalo?
I bet Buffalo wishes they could have him right now. He'd be the best player on their team by far. But I believe in Fitzpatrick this week. Going forward, I don't know. We'll have to see after the Bears game.
TBD. Next guy. Do we believe what we are seeing out of Matt Breida?
I'm just going to call him Breida because it reminds me of the Breida filter, so
okay.
It's always Matt Breida.
I'm going to say Matt Breida. He is currently your number 1 rusher in the NFL. Most rushing yards in the NFL. Most of that is due to, I think he had like a 60-something yard touchdown run last week.
Yeah, it was a 66-yard
But regardless, he's still getting the volume, putting up the yards. So I remember before when we had our show, before the season started, we talked about who's the guy to own there after McKinnon went down. Was it Breida or Alfred Morris? And I think we were split on that, which is a little embarrassing because obviously it is Matt Breida.
Oh, yeah.
Does this keep up? Does he keep producing? As a Matt Breida owner who won't trade him to me, Matt?
Listen, we talked about this before the podcast. I got to stash him on my bench for those bye weeks, man. Because I do believe in him a little. I think he's a good flex play right now. Will he be higher than that? I don't know. If they keep wanting to give the ball to Morris, then like a lot of teams are doing, they're going to this 2 running back system, which I fucking hate.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But it's annoying for fantasy. I can understand why you'd want to do that in an actual game.
Nah, man, they shouldn't care about that.
Man, they gotta listen to Fantasy and Geo.
Yeah, don't they care about us?
No, he's definitely the better back of the 2. I wish he'd get involved a little bit.
He's pretty shifty. For some reason I thought he was a big guy.
Oh no, he's one of the smallest running backs in the league, which is why everyone's kind of doubting him. But I was gonna say, I wish he'd get involved in the passing game a little bit more. He may just get some dump offs. I think he only has like 4 receptions total on the year. Yeah, he's only caught 4 passes for not a lot of yards. I think if he starts running away with the job a little bit, he'll get more of those receptions as Garoppolo kind of gets more comfortable with him. So definitely the back to own there. You've come to the dark side.
I like Breida. Trade him to me now.
Antonio Brown, straight up.
Emmanuel Sanders, deal.
We'll talk about this later. I don't want to bring up old arguments.
Your number 2 receiver after week 2 is Deshaun Jackson. He had that big week 1, and we said, oh, that ain't going to last. He ain't going to do it again. First play of the game on Sunday was a bomb to Deshaun Jackson. So do we like Deshaun moving forward? Is this going to last? What do you think?
Let me put you on the spot. Do we like Deshaun Jackson moving forward?
No, I don't. I'm going to come out and say it.
Just straight up. And why not?
I mean, it can't. It's impossible.
Is it impossible? It's
impossible.
With a quarterback like Fitzpatrick who likes throwing downfield, if they keep doing it, it's good for him. But I don't like the fact that he's only getting like 4 receptions a game.
Yeah,
and
so
not a lot of targets.
At what point does it get to where you would actually like start him though?
I don't know. It might take 15 games for me to want to start him. It's just I like.
Would you ever, because Deshaun Jackson is the guy that when you finally put out there, he will get you 2 catches for 12 yards.
Oh yeah, and that's what you gotta be worried. He's kind of similar to Will Fuller was last year, except Will Fuller was like on the very far side of the spectrum. Like Will Fuller was catching 2 passes for 2 touchdowns. At least Deshaun Jackson's getting another 2 passes for 10 yards or what.
Another 2 catches.
But that's always like with my number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, I want a guy that's getting at least 7 targets a game, and he's not getting that. So once teams finally figure out, hey, Fitzpatrick just launching the ball down the field, maybe we should stop that. Then I think that's the downfall of the Bucs again.
And if Jameis comes back, then he loses all his value. So
yeah, rather have Mike Evans if you can pick him up off your waivers.
Oh, for sure. I wouldn't even think.
I try to slip that by you. But yeah, I don't believe in him either.
But if he is out there on the waivers, then yeah,
grab him. For sure.
I mean, Alshon was on our waivers last year, so you know.
Yeah. So we gotta, since we're kind of on the Bucs right now. Lalo, and on YouTube asks Wentz, Fitzmagic, or Breeze this week.
Who are the Saints playing?
Let me pull that up real quick. I mean, I still like Fitzmagic this week just because they're playing the
Pittsburgh, who has shown the ability to stop nobody.
They just gave up 6 touchdowns to a rookie, so technically not a rookie, but to Mahomes.
Did you look up who the Saints?
Yeah, Saints are playing the Falcons at Atlanta.
I think both of those games are going to be high scoring. I'd go with either one of those over. Who was the other
Wentz.
guy?
I'm not playing Wentz.
I'm not starting Wentz week 1.
No, yeah, he's coming back off the injury. He's just lost Mike Wallace. Doesn't have Jeffrey back. I think they just signed.
They just signed Jordan Matthews.
Yeah. Which he's been on the team before, so.
Yeah.
You might know the offense, but. Yeah, Fitzmagic or Breeze.
If you have the choice between Fitzmagic and Breeze, that's a good choice to have.
Breeze for the floor, Fitzmagic for the ceiling.
Either one is fine.
I go Breeze probably.
Yeah. I mean, eventually Fitzmagic's got to slow down though. So right.
That's why I'm sticking with Breeze. You know what Breeze is.
Yeah. Okay, so we have guys that are maybe overperforming. So now let's talk about some guys that you drafted in those first couple rounds that are not performing like that. So first guy is David Johnson, running back Cardinals. He is currently your number 27 running back, and he was drafted as a top 4 running back. Are we worried?
I'm worried that he's not going to be the value that you drafted him at. He's not going to be a top 5 running back this year.
Because the Cardinals suck something awful.
Yeah, I'm not.
And it's hard for a running back to produce on a bad team.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm also not worried because I think he's going to be a great flex option. Or
he's a guy you'll still be able to start.
Yeah.
But that's not what you were expecting when you drafted him at 3 or 4.
And they did say they're going to try to use him in the slot more. I guess get him in the open field a little bit, which will give him some.
Who's going to throw it to him? Sam Bradford is terrible. They got to throw Rosen out there pretty soon.
Yeah, and will that affect anything? Well, I'm more worried about Fitzgerald, honestly. I'm not so much worried about David Johnson. He'll get his eventually. Yeah, he was all injured most of last year, so he's coming back from that. David Johnson.
Yeah, he broke his wrist.
Yeah, but he's not playing in games. So you don't have that game speed, you know?
Well, nobody had the game speed over the summer.
Yeah, but he didn't have it for almost 2 years.
2 years?
Or a year and a half. Or a year.
What the hell are you talking about?
But yeah, I'm not
Next
worried.
guy on that same category. Odell Beckham Jr. is currently the number 29 wide receiver. This is also a product of being on a terrible team with a quarterback that can't get him the ball because he has about 0.5 seconds to throw the ball every time.
Yeah. Their offensive line is terrible.
If you watch the game Sunday night, or was that Monday night? It was Sunday night.
It was Sunday night.
It was
Bears
Monday night.
No, Bears played Monday
It was
night.
Sunday night. I think Saquon Barkley had like 12 catches or something. He was just dumping it off to him every single time. It's just, I don't know if Eli can do it anymore, which is going to affect OBJ.
But OBJ is still getting a lot of targets. It's not like
he's still getting targets, but
that's what
he just
you want.
doesn't have time to throw it downfield.
Whenever I look for a wide receiver to pick up off the waivers, I'm looking at their targets. If they're getting a high amount of targets, then at some point it's going to click and they're going to start catching the ball, or the quarterback will start putting better balls on them.
Right, and I'm not worried about him catching the ball, but I'm saying, I mean, you drafted him in late first, early second round, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to perform up to that.
No, but he's similar to David Johnson. Like, you're not sitting him on the bench.
But he is playing the Texans this week, so you should probably start him. I mean, you were going to start him regardless, but you should probably expect about 25 points.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that before the season started, I did say someone that's drafting either OBJ, Ingram, or Saquon Barkley is going to be disappointed. And don't fucking roll your eyes. But they're going to be disappointed. Well, there's not enough points to go around.
I'm disappointed in Saquon now.
I mean, Saquon...
Did you say Mark Ingram?
Ingram.
Yeah, you said Mark Ingram, didn't you?
No, they just said Ingram.
Oh.
You know what I meant.
Well, Evan Ingram got me a touchdown the other night, so I'm fine with that.
Sorry. Eli's bad. Their team might be one of the worst teams in football, so...
Guess we'll find out. Loser of this game Sunday is the worst team in the NFL, so...
have you seen the Bills? But yeah, they're right up there with them.
That's pretty bad. All right, let's kind of wrap up with some just news and notes from week 2 here. The big news of the week, everybody's been talking about it, is Josh Gordon. Kind of feel bad talking about it without Ethan here because we know that's Ethan's boy. But Josh Gordon was a surprise news came out Saturday saying the Saints were going to, not the Saints, they were playing the Saints, that the Browns were going to release him. They ended up trading him to New England. So now that New England offense has Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman when he comes back, Gronkowski, Chris Hogan, Rex Burkhead, James White, Sony Michel. I mean, what are you going to do with all that?
Bill Belichick. He likes to fuck over everyone's fantasy dreams.
Philip Dorsett.
Yeah. Did you see who they cut to bring in Josh Gordon, though?
Corey Coleman.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic there, but...
Sucks.
Yeah, so,
fantasy outlook going forward. Josh Gordon.
I think I would... Oh, man, this is a tough one. I've been thinking about this for a lot, too. I don't know. It's just... I know it sucks to hear. I don't know.
I mean, I don't really know either because how could anyone know? One, it's the Patriots. You never know how they're going to do anything. And, yeah, I would not feel comfortable. First of all, I wouldn't feel comfortable playing him this week. I don't think.
I mean, if you're gonna play him, you're gonna play him. He's playing with Brady, but like I wrote down, there's just too many mouths to feed right now, and I think he's gonna have some big games, but I also think he's gonna have some duds. Probably a little bit similar to Brandon Cooks last year, but now they just have even more people on the team.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got the talent. I'm not worried about that.
Where do you think he finishes season-wise? Receiver.
That's just...
Top 20?
Because he could easily finish top 10 or top 5 if he's just...
He could.
Yeah, I mean, top 20.
Receivers are loaded this year.
Yeah, it's still pretty early. You also missed a game, so... top 20 would be a solid prediction there, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Those who own Hogan, though, are a little worried right now. Or Edelman.
Well, in our league, he owns all the Patriots, so...
So, you just start Hogan, you start Brady, you start Burkhead, you start White, and, if the Patriots go off, then you're loving it.
Then you go off. Okay, some injuries to get to.
One more thing about Gordon. He's wearing number 10, for those that were worried about what number he's going to pick.
Was anybody worried?
Yeah, I mean, he's got number 12 tattooed on his back. You can't take number 12 from Brady, so people were like, well, what number is he going to wear? He's wearing number 10. Breaking news.
You can turn that 2 into a 0 on his back, probably.
Sure.
Guy that I am not too happy with at the moment is Devontae Freeman, who did not play Sunday, and he's rumored to probably miss a couple more games. And that was my second-round pick, my number 1 running back. I'm kind of screwed now, so I'm not very happy with Devontae at the moment.
Yeah, what are your plans now? What are you going to try to do with him?
What am I going to do with him? I'm going to start him when he comes back because I don't have a choice.
Well, I'm saying you're 0-2 right now.
I am 0-2. Thanks, man.
Ryan's 0-2, for those that are wondering.
Thanks, man.
And you're in need of a running back. Do you look to trade him?
Trade Freeman? No one wants him.
Well, it's someone that's 2-0 might stash him on the bench if they get the right guy.
You want him for Breida, Matt?
I would make that deal.
No. You want him for Dalvin Cook?
No. Well, I got a healthy running back. You don't. But so I saw there was 2 different rumors. Like, there's a rumor that he could come back like in 2 weeks, or he could miss like an entire month. So that's 2 to 4 games right there almost.
Well, it probably would have been smart for me to have Tevin Coleman so that it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Tevin Coleman owner, you are loving it right now because Coleman becomes a number 1 running back. But until he comes back, he's kind of screwing me over. And even when he does come back, if you watched week 1, even though he got hurt at the end of it, it was basically split right down the middle.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's always been, though. Well, Coleman looking
I just don't know once he does come back healthy. I don't know what kind of production you can expect. So.
Yeah. So you start him week 1 when he comes back?
I have to.
Oh yeah, I guess if you're in that predicament.
I just lost my matchup by 1.6 because I had to start Rex Burkhead, who got 2.2. I have to start him.
Well, if you listen to Fantasy and Chill and this guy named Matt told you don't draft Patriots running backs, then you wouldn't have made that mistake.
Who else was I going to draft in that spot, Matt?
I don't know. We'll have to go back and look.
It was like round 6.
I did like Burkhead this year, but thank God you took him.
It was either him or Chris Carson. Both of them got less than the points I would have needed. So.
Well, that Patriots running backs.
Game, I was like, damn it! If Chris Carson gets like 5 points, then I win my matchup, and he got 2.4, so I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Or not good about losing, but just felt better that if I wouldn't have started him, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it's kind of those shitty decisions. Yeah, fuck Pete Carroll too. He doesn't. He tells you one thing, and then I don't.
Yeah, did you see his excuse yesterday?
No, what did he say?
So he had said last week that Carson was going to be kind of the bell cow, moving forward.
Yeah, that's why I said
for some reason
fuck
they have
Pete
him on
Carroll.
special teams. They have him on special teams, and so he said yesterday in his interview that he didn't play him, like keep running the ball with him because he was getting tired from special teams. Then he came out yesterday and said, "Oh, actually, the special teams coach said that he took him off special teams toward the end of the game so he could keep running the ball." And like they didn't talk about this at all. Just God,
yeah,
idiots.
That's what I was wondering because I read like multiple reports. Oh, Pete Carroll, Penny looked rusty, so we're just gonna give Carson more carries, and then he goes out there and
Bullshit.
They just don't do it. They have the thought in their head like, I want to run the ball.
Like 3-1.
Yeah, Penny had 10 carries for like 30-something yards.
Which is still terrible.
Yeah, it's bad, but as a Penny owner, I'm loving that he's getting more touches than Carson is for some reason.
Carson Wentz is back this week. We already talked about it a little bit, but we're both in agreement. You're not starting Wentz this week.
Unless you have to, but
you probably don't have to because you drafted a guy to replace him because you had to start in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, so you have someone on your bench, and they're probably not necessarily the better option, but the safer option.
Well, in our league, the guy that has Wentz also has Matt Ryan, who's playing the Saints at home, so I would probably start Matt Ryan over Wentz.
Yeah, I mean, Eagles are going against Indy right now this week, so Indy's they're better this year with luck.
Better.
I think somehow luck gives them a better defense because it kind of keeps the other team off the field a little bit. But they're still historically bad defense.
Possibly.
I'm worried.
Give me Colts plus the points.
They're favorites. No, they're not. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm a little worried about Aguilar just because he didn't have that connection that that Foles had the connection with Aguilar that Wentz did, but
with Wentz coming back and then Alshon coming back soon, maybe that connection's coming back.
yeah, if you have Alshon, you're loving it. Don't drop him on waivers.
Don't drop that Alshon. Like that.
Yeah, I didn't have a drop for that. I was gonna play some background music for you, but I don't have anything.
Jay Ajayi, most likely out this week. Talking about the Eagles. So do we like Corey Clement?
Yes.
Or staying away?
I like him.
You like it a lot.
He had 85 total yards last week on 11 touches and a touchdown, and they're playing Indy.
He had a pretty good game.
I think he's not a bad back. It's just the problem is with like a lot of other teams, they have like three running backs. I don't know if Sproles is playing this week either, so it might just be down to Clement
and Smallwood.
Yeah. I haven't really heard much from him this season though, so I'm not too worried about him. Clement's a good back. Yeah, would you start him?
Clement?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because I'm starting Burkhead.
Well, I mean, just as get rid of your team in general. You would?
No.
Not even as a flex?
No.
Really? I think I'd like him as a flex. I mean, like I said, they're playing Indy.
I don't trust him.
Well, it doesn't matter if you trust him. He's the only option they have. Like, they have to trust him. If they trust him, then I trust him.
If Lamar Miller goes out, are you starting Alfred Blue?
Okay, well, you can't compare Alfred Blue to Corey.
No, I just gave your argument there. That was your argument.
No, because Alfred Blue sucks.
Oh, and Corey Clement is just so
He looked good last week.
Okay, Alfred Blue's looked good before.
Yeah, what, 1 carry a game? Yeah, look, he looked good. He got 5 yards that one carry.
Man, I'm playing devil's advocate because you said, if Ajayi's out, then you got to start Clement. Okay, if a Miller's out, are you starting Blue? No,
I didn't say you have to start. I'm going to say he's a good flex option. I say he's a good flex option. Rewind it.
LaShawn McCoy.
Speaking of bad running backs.
Yeah, speaking of terrible, awful.
Well, running backs you don't want to start.
LaShawn McCoy, who make matters worse, got landed on by his offensive lineman and cracked his rib cartilage. So most likely not playing this week. I've heard reports that he might try to tough through it, but I just don't see him being very productive with a cracked rib.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can tell everyone about the other report that came out. I don't know too much detail about it.
Oh, yeah. If you remember in the offseason, he had reports that was it a girlfriend or a baby mama or some kind of abuse. Well, his actual baby mama came out this week and said that he's been abusing his son. Just seems like another Adrian Peterson situation, and
he did come out on Instagram afterwards saying, "No, I love my son, but it might just be damage control."
Well, he ain't gonna come out and say, "Yeah, I beat my son."
Yeah, exactly. So if you got issues there too, it's not looking good, especially with a shitty team.
It's not looking good because he's already starting off the year terribly on maybe the worst team in the NFL.
They just had a guy retire at halftime.
They had a guy retire at halftime. Not looking good for
they're playing
Bills
the Vikings
Mafia
this week, who have a top 3 defense.
Matt, can we go ahead and make this deal in front of all of the world listening right now? That
what's this deal?
That when the Texans beat the
tables being involved,
I have to put you through a table.
No, I'm not even a Bills fan.
In case y'all didn't know, Matt is part of Bills Mafia. He is born into it.
In case I didn't know, a judge just outlawed Bills Mafia from slamming people through tables.
Okay, judges outlaw lots of things, Matt.
Yeah, it's not going to stop anything, but if you're part of Bills Mafia, be warned.
If the Texans cover the spread, I get to put you through a table.
The spread, they probably, I guess.
Spread's going to be like a lot of points, so.
Is it though? We'll see. Texans might just be equally as bad.
If the Texans cover the spreads versus the Bills on October the...
I think it's like the 14th.
14th, then I am choke slamming or power bombing Matt through a table.
If they don't?
If they don't, then we're going to have a nice, calm dinner and watch the other game.
Sounds like a terrible deal. Back to fantasy real quick, though, because I think it's somewhat relevant. If McCoy doesn't play, do you pick up Chris Ivory?
Matt, no.
Listen, I gotta ask for the people.
No,
he would be a starting running
Bills,
back.
Matt. Don't pick any of them up.
Pick him up and then just throw him in the trash can.
Yeah.
And just instantly drop him so no one else can pick him up.
We're already saying that LaShawn McCoy is like a borderline. Like, is he gonna do any good at this point? Why would you try your chances with Chris Ivory?
Listen, we gotta ask the questions. People are wondering.
We don't have to ask the question. No one was wondering.
You'd be surprised some of the questions I get.
If you're wondering if you should start Chris Ivory this week, then no.
I didn't say start, just pick him up.
That'd just be a waste of a
roster spot. You should not pick him up so someone else picks him up in the hopes that they start him against you.
Hey, right there.
That's some 140 IQ right there.
Yeah. 140 IQ, please. See, I know that shit. You don't think I know all that gaming lingo?
Let's move forward.
Joe Mixon on Thursday night, he was looking good again. What did he do again? What did he hurt? Was it his hamstring? Was it his groin?
He's getting surgery.
Was it his nose?
What?
His knee.
Yeah, it was a reaggravation of a previous injury, I believe.
Yeah. But they're saying 2 weeks for Joe Mixon.
I saw 2 to 4, but yeah, 2 weeks maybe.
2 to 4, yeah. 2 weeks on the good side. But what that means is that the only guy out of the backfield worth a damn that they have on their team is Giovanni Bernard. So he's probably a guy you can plug and play these next few weeks. I had him, and after week 1, when he touched the ball one time, I said, oh, Giovanni Bernard ain't doing shit this year. Let me drop his ass. Let me pick up some wide receiver that I don't need instead. And kind of wish I had him now.
Yeah, he looked good last year when Mixon was out. I think I wrote down some of his stats. He averaged 101 total yards on about 20 touches. He had 2 TDs in 5 games. So he probably finished around like a running back 2, which is not bad if you're desperate for a running back right now, even as like a flex play.
It really sucks for Mixon owners because he looked great week 1. He was looking good week 2 before he went out, and I was already really high on him going into the year, and I mean this is just going to set him back because you got to imagine when he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. So.
Oh no, and just small little note, they did sign Thomas Rawls. Don't think that matters. Think Bernard's better, but
Thomas Rawls.
You need to sign someone when someone goes down, so that's their sign right there.
They have Trey Carson.
Oh yeah, also Trey Carson. But what has he done?
Lead the Fighting Texas Aggies to some wins.
He led them? Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. That was someone.
Last little guy to talk about is Leonard Fournette. Keyword should be back this week. You never know with him because you remember last year he had all these little drama issues and he would decide he wasn't going to play. But yeah, Leonard Fournette should be back this week.
There's no team photo shoots this week, so I think he's good.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Also, hopefully he comes back because you don't want to start Yeldon anymore. Yeldon is not good.
No. So in our league, GFA league, we had a big trade yesterday. Le'Veon Bell and Robert Gronkowski were traded for Leonard Fournette and Zach Ertz. Pretty big blockbuster earlier in the year.
Yeah. I don't like that trade.
I don't like it either. I don't even know who I don't like it for, but I don't like it.
You just don't like it overall. It's I don't really understand it, but hey, I'm not.
I don't understand it from both points of view, really. So.
Well, one of them
I tried to get in the mind of both
James
of them,
Conner, right?
And I just didn't really understand it. Huh?
So was it Britt that owned James Conner?
The guy that just got Britt owned Fournette, so he got Bell in the deal, and he also has Conner, so he's pretty set there. Like he doesn't have to worry about Bell because he has Conner.
Yeah, but you're just kind of giving up a running back.
But Britt is also 0-2.
Yeah, you just gave up a running back when you need to win.
Yeah, he gave up a running back when he needs to win, but he did add Gronk.
Which he's good.
He doesn't make up for Fournette.
But Ertz is just as good. Or not just as good, but I think he lost more value than he got there.
Yeah. But if Le'Veon Bell comes back,
then he would have lost a running back either way.
Then he's going to be – well, yeah, but now he's going to be pretty good because he also has Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
And he has Mark Ingram.
Ah, Ingram
so
comes
if
back.
Mark Ingram comes back, then he's really set.
Yeah. It's more to deal
Britt,
with
0-2
our league.
could be on the up and up. Could get last place. Never know.
Yeah, it's a battle between y'all two right now. Who's wearing the dress?
My team's good.
Right. If we only had audio of what you said after the draft. I fucking hate my team. My team sucks.
Yeah. I was forced with my draft position to do what I did.
Yeah, it was tough this year drafting. It kind of depended on where your position was, as it does most years. But this year it seemed like it was just, I don't know. You wanted to be early. I guess we're not going to go through waivers just because they're pretty much up for everyone.
We can just run through the names real quick. We know that waivers have already passed. And due to us having some difficulties last night, didn't get the waiver names out there before. But if for some reason these guys are still available and you need to pick up one of them, go for it. But we don't need to spend too much time on them. So first name is Giovanni Bernard. We already talked about him. If for some reason he is still out there, grab him right now.
Yeah.
You can start him this week and next week.
I wouldn't, if you're in a good position where you don't need running backs, you don't necessarily have to pick him up because he's only going to be starting a couple weeks.
Right, but I'm saying at this point waivers already passed, so it just you can pick him up for free.
Yeah, if he's a free agent, yeah, okay.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, we already talked about. John Brown. John Brown has 2 touchdowns in 2 games. Maybe Joe Flacco's favorite target there?
Yeah, I actually don't mind him quite a bit. They throw their
He's
third.
a deep threat.
Yeah, deep threat. He's getting actually quite a bit amount of targets for being a deep threat. And the Ravens throw the ball. I think they're third in the league in pass attempts, so I don't mind him.
Oh, yeah, they are, because I have Alex Collins, and they're definitely not giving him the ball.
For some odd reason, when teams have good running backs, they don't like giving him the ball. I don't know.
Aaron Jones returns this week. We talked about him last week, and I think he is the most talented back in Green Bay, and they like him the best out of everybody, so I think he'd get a real chance to kind of own that backfield.
I think they said he's going to be like in a secondary position this first week behind Montgomery and Williams. But
getting him acclimated.
Yeah, at some point I think he'll take over.
Chris Godwin, the third receiver in Tampa. I mean, if they just keep up this scoring, then he's going to do pretty decent.
If I'm not taking Deshaun Jackson, I'm not taking Godwin. I put Deshaun over him.
Theo Riddick, if you're in a PPR league, Theo Riddick had 9 catches for 47 yards on Sunday.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Lions' Chris Thompson. Relating to
0 carries.
Yeah, well,
0 carries, 9 catches.
That's what you expect from him.
Just only if you're PPR is he has any value.
Yeah, he's like their 4th receiver. And their 4th running back, which is kind of weird.
Another guy that has a lot of PPR value, Austin Eckler, who we talked about. He has 24 touches already through 2 games. And if Melvin Gordon is limited at all this week, like he's rumored to be.
Yeah, I kind of like him. I'd rather have him than Riddick. Just
if you're a Gordon owner, though.
Well, especially if you're a Gordon owner, yeah. I think he can.
You're a Gordon owner. Do you have Eckler?
I do have Eckler. I picked him up last week.
Oh. Isn't that convenient?
Yep.
For you and Eckler.
He loves it. I asked him.
Geronimo Allison.
He's
look pretty good.
Yeah. There's just so many people there. Like you want Devontae Adams and
he's got more upside than Randall Cobb, I think.
Yeah. A little younger, healthier. Yeah, he's worth a stash maybe in deeper leagues. Cool name. We need a Geronimo drop.
Geronimo!
There you go.
Ted Ginn Jr. had 7 targets on Sunday.
Yeah, another guy you can stash on your bench. He was pretty.
Drew Brees liked him last year.
I'm about to say you owned him last year, and he.
I actually started him a couple games. He did okay.
Yeah, as long as they throw the ball a lot, he. And then if they're going to be losing to the Browns,
Cameron Meredith might take over that number 2 role. But right now, I think Ginn's the second target.
I think Meredith has been a healthy scratch.
Well, beside Kamara, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And Michael Thomas. But
yeah, Michael Thomas. Damn, that's a stud right there.
Keelan Cole through 2 weeks has 10 catches for 170 yards, and he had a dirty catch on Sunday. That one-handed grab.
OBJ
also had a long touchdown.
Yeah.
I think we all agreed kind of going into the season that he was going to be the #1 guy in Jacksonville, and he's showing that. And if Bortles plays out of his mind like he did last week, then maybe he's a guy you can start.
Yeah. You're not starting Dede, and if they're gonna have to throw the ball quite a bit, especially with Fournette out, then he's the
Dede
guy.
looked pretty good too.
Yeah. Until he gets his 200-yard game, I'm not playing him. I don't care if he gets 199.
Keelan Cole over Dede though. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
What about Will Dissly? Both games he has 3 catches and 1 touchdown. I mean, he's productive.
In the fucking dumpster fire that is tight ends, I guess you can find a way to start him.
Because tight ends are a dumpster fire, and because Seattle's just running out of options to throw to.
Yeah, Seattle looks bad. It might be Chicago is just pretty good this year on defense, but speaking of not having a lot of time to throw, put him right up there with Eli and his offensive line. At least
Deshaun.
Russell Wilson can run, and Deshaun can run.
Was that the first time we've mentioned Deshaun Watson's name this entire night?
No, you said you asked if Patrick Mahomes was this year's Deshaun.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
We did mention him right at the beginning. I was like, did we go through an entire episode without talking about Deshaun Watson?
It always starts like the very beginning we talk about him. Yeah, I guess.
Antonio Callaway. Josh Gordon is gone. If you were watching that game on Sunday when they blew it, little dust in the wind, rip to our boy Zane. Rough day for him. 2 missed extra points, 2 missed field goals, cost him the game.
What the fuck are we gonna do now?
It's game over for him.
Okay, we kind of missed that first part.
You did. The fans heard it.
He'll bounce back, though. I think someone will sign him eventually.
Yeah.
Antonio Callaway, though, had that long, late touchdown to tie the game. It looked like win the game. He's got a ton of upside. He's really fast. Now all they have is Jarvis, so I think he's going to get even more targets.
I got Njoku. I'm not touching anyone.
Maybe a stash guy late in the year, maybe.
I'd rather have any of those other wide receivers that we talked about. Browns are just they got a good defense this year, which is helping them out, but I don't know if I trust anyone else besides Jarvis.
You watching Browns Jets on Sunday? Should be a
Hell
good one.
yeah. It's Thursday.
Oh shit, it is.
Yeah. You probably got a couple guys. Oh, we got the Crow going against his old team, revenge game.
Are you starting him?
The Crow. 60 yards total. Bold prediction.
Bold prediction. 60 total yards for the
and
Crow.
and a half a touchdown.
Half a touchdown.
He'll fumble it into the end zone. One of his players will recover. Yeah, I believe in him.
Speaking of, we just talked about how tight end is pretty rough. Eric Ebron has a touchdown in each game.
Yeah, I don't mind him. Yeah, he's got luck thrown to him.
Jack Doyle's still there, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna make. I'm having a terrible time with names right now, but yeah, the only problem with him is they do have Jack Doyle still there. Ebron's
Andy
like a
Dalton. Sorry, I'm moving quick through these.
No.
No to Andy Dalton?
I'd rather have Fitzpatrick if he's still available.
So Andy Dalton, since he's played a full season now with this new offensive coordinator that got hired in week 3 of last year, and he has something like almost 4,000 yards, like 30 touchdowns, and not very many interceptions.
He's always been a guy
I didn't
that
write
can,
the numbers down, but
no, I know. He's always been a guy that can get you a pretty solid floor. It's just
he's always that solid spot start when you need it.
yeah, exactly. I'd rather have a different QB, but if you're streaming QBs, if you find the right weeks, then you could probably start him there.
Yeah. And the Bengals look pretty good this year.
Yeah, they do.
So far.
Surprising.
Corey Clement, we already talked about. Buck Allen. You know what? Fuck Buck Allen, man.
Well,
I'm so tired of watching his fat ass get in the end zone.
He's
and
not even
stealing
fat.
my Alex Collins touchdowns. Don't ruin the narrative, Matt.
Okay. As a note, I had him last year, and right when I thought he was about to start doing good, that's when they started giving the ball to Alex Collins.
Well, I wish they go back to that.
Yeah.
So Thursday night, Alex Collins wasn't doing anything. They got the ball all the way down to the 1 yard line because of pass interference. I was like, oh, here we go. Here goes my cheap touchdown. Oh, let's run Buck Allen out there.
Yeah.
Let's get him that touchdown.
He must give a good blowjob or something.
Off all the fantasy owners.
Old Hardball just loves him. Or Flacco. I don't know. He's doing something to someone, and they like it.
Whoa.
I'm just being honest.
Mike Williams looked pretty good on Sunday, caught a touchdown. Maybe keeps getting more and more acclimated each week since he was out last year. Do we like Mike Williams?
This is a guy I could see.
That's a good offense.
Yeah, good offense, decent defense. Got a good quarterback thrown to him. I think he could, become a solid wide receiver for you.
Someone in Carolina has to replace the Greg Olsen production. So on Sunday, Jarius Wright had 6 catches and a touchdown. Was that do anything for you? Or
they had to play from behind. They had to just start throwing the ball. I think I was watching part of that game, and I think Cam Newton had like 120 yards going into the third quarter, maybe even
and then he exploded.
and then they just started coming back. So, how do you feel about him? Tight end, doing good. Give him a chance.
He's a receiver.
Why do I think he was? I mean,
I'm just replacing Greg Olsen production, but that doesn't mean he's a tight end. He's a receiver.
Well, they still have
They still got
Funchess there.
That one dude.
Yeah, Funchess, McCaffrey, and then the rookie Moore, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
So.
And then finally, we got a lot of guys banged up this week. So if for some reason Todd Gurley cannot play, then Malcolm Brown will get the brunt of the work there. And then in Atlanta with Devontae Freeman out, if something happens to Coleman, you have, I don't know how to say this guy's name, Ito or Ito. I'm going to say Ito. Ito Smith.
We'll just call him I. Smith.
I don't know about Smith that much, but if Todd Gurley does not play, Malcolm Brown is probably a guy you could plug in.
Yeah. I'm only picking him up if I own Todd Gurley, though.
Yeah. And that is it for our waiver claims.
I didn't even do my waiver claims. Oh, well. I can't find it. Too busy. Waiver claims.
That was I know we kind of caught you off guard middle of the week. And waiver claims are already done with anyways. But if any of those guys, like we said, are out there and they kind of gave you a little tingle, go grab them.
Well, grab the crow.
Grab the crow. The crow is probably owned by now.
Yeah, as he should be.
Remember to follow us on Instagram at Fantasy and Chill, Twitter at Fantasy and Chill. If you do follow us, you've been noticing on Sundays we've been busy on the Twitter sphere, answering your questions, who to start, who not to start, who we like, who we don't. I think that's mostly Matt and Austin doing that. I think I answered one on Sunday.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I usually get confirmation from most of the members of Fantasy and Chill if they agree.
That is true. We have a little group text where we'll text out who do we like, and so usually if it's a Twitter response, it's all of our inputs in there.
Yeah.
But Instagram, Fantasy and Chill, Twitter, Fantasy and Chill,
iTunes Fantasy and Chill
app. Subscribe to Fantasy and Chill. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to Fantasy and Chill.
MySpace.
We're gonna bring it back. Snapchat.
Not Snap. Neither. Okay, none of those.
Grinder.
Okay. If you find us on there, let us know because there's a issue.
An imposter.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for you. We will be back, hopefully regularly scheduled programming next week to talk about week 3. And Matt, you got anything else, or are we good?
Goodbye.
We out.